Hello and welcome to episode 34, part 3 of my Wurm Unlimited tutorial series. This episode is of course a continuation of us building the rowboat. Okay, now I keep trying to remember to warn you, this is just sidetracking just quickly in my normal way, about, we're all meeting up on our deed this Saturday. Well, those of you that wish to. There is something I keep meaning to warn you about. In Wurm Online, okay, when you create a non-premium character, so a free character, okay, that doesn't cost anything, you have to log them in at least once every 4 weeks. Now, the amount of characters Rainstorm and me have lost alts because we would forget to log them in is not funny. Okay, so just to warn you, it's once every 4 weeks. You just simply have to log in, whether it's for 1 second or 5 seconds, you just simply have to log in, then you can log straight off. If you do not log in in a 4-week period, at the end of the 4 weeks, your character will get deleted. Okay, so a habit that me and Rainstorm have with our alts is we will, on the 3rd week, just log them in real quick and then log them off. Okay, so the reason I say that is I did set it as a 3-week period for us to meet in hoping that none of you would then lose your characters. That's why it wasn't 4 weeks. I know I said originally in 4 weeks time, but looking at it, you'll see it's been 3 weeks. The reason for that mainly is so that you don't lose your characters after making all the way to our deed. So there we go. If your character was older than a week before that, please make sure you log them in just really quickly so they don't get deleted. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to quickly say that. Okay, now I just want to check my notes. There's a few things I need to mention before we continue on building. Yeah, okay, the next thing to mention is I made a mistake in the last episode regarding the wood type for the rope tool. It should, of course, any tool, any wooden tool, should be made from oaken wood. Yes, I said cedar wood. The question is, did I do that mistake on purpose? Or did I genuinely just be my normal idiot self and tell you the wrong wood? So I'll let you think about that. Would Gamester mess with you, my dear viewers? Would I? Well, perhaps I would. It's always in a nice way, never a nasty way, always a nice way. So there we go. I made a mistake. Always you make your wooden tools out of oaken wood. And I would like to finish by saying well done to Peppermint, because Peppermint did spot that mistake. Now, I've mentioned in the past how observant you all are, and I know perhaps a ton of you realised that. I know all of you realised, you all know by now. So, but anyway, there we go. Dear Peppermint did mention it. Well done, Peppermint. Okay, next, I want to thank Colin for explaining my confusion yesterday when I mentioned about the 2 lists on Wurmpedia. That is a classic example of how your brain just does not operate in the normal way. Yes, thank you, Colin. When I read your comment, I went back to Wurmpedia, the wonderful Wurmpedia that is, and again I read the list on the right and the left, and I see on the left it did say indeed stern with the components necessary for the stern. But of course, when you're recording and you're reading, you are not seeing them words saying stern for stern, because you realise the clock is ticking, time is passing, and the one thing you do not want to do when you make videos is stumble and waste time over an obvious problem. You need to move on, you need to keep moving. So you've got that alarm bell ringing in your brain when you're recording. You keep moving. You must keep moving, because if you stop, you're dead in the water. Anyway, so thank you, Colin, for that, for explaining about the materials. Yes, I now appreciate and understand that. And thank you as well, because you've actually contributed to making this episode, this part of the episode, longer. than it was going to be, because obviously now I'm going to show you how to make a stern. But don't worry, all of you, it's not difficult, it's very simple. Okay, moving on. We've got a new leader who's caught the biggest fish. Sorry, Bill, I know you did have a triumph there for about a week, but AlleyKats, the lovely AlleyKats, has pushed into the lead with a 17.97 kilogram catfish. Wow, it seems to be, you know, when I started this competition, it was really, if I'm honest with you, me being selfish. I wanted to see what the different size fish we can possibly catch, and I wanted to see what different types of fish. Well, they've all been catfish, so a bit curious there. But anyway, well done, AlleyKats. 17.97 kilograms. Way to go, AlleyKats. AlleyKats has put a picture on her channel for those of you that would like to see the fish, and thank you, AlleyKats, for sharing it with us all. So I will pop over to your channel and take a look. Not because I don't believe you. Not at all. Just simply, you know, you made the effort of uploading that picture. I'm going to take a look. So thank you. Okay, so let's now get on with making rowboats, because I am always in peril of risking waffling on too long to you and losing your interest. So, okay, let's continue on from where we left off. So next then, we need to make a seat. We've got two more components to make before we can start assembling the rowboat. But before I get to that, there is another thing that I need to mention. See, it's so easy for me to jump on, really is. I need to mention one more thing. AlleyKats also asked a very good question in her last comment, the latest comment she made. Okay, sorry, I know I'm backtracking. She asked, are we safe in rowboats from sharks? That is a fantastic question. And guess what? Once we've built this rowboat, okay, and I know it's for, as I've said, this rowboat's for rainstorm, but once we finish building this rowboat, which will be in the last part to this episode, I'm going to answer your question, AlleyKats, and hopefully give you all a bit of entertainment, because I'm going to show you the Gamester finding a shark in his rowboat. So we will see whether I end up getting eaten by the shark or not. We will see, and it will also answer the question for all of you. Now, I remember a long time back when sharks were first introduced to the game, okay, and the discussion was on the fact that they only attacked you in the open seas. I'm not sure, things may have been updated. So what more of a fun way for us to find out the facts is if I take this rowboat out to meet a shark, the local neighbour, and we will see whether it ends horribly or whether I'm safe. So all will be revealed in the next part to this episode. For now, I really must start building this boat before you fall asleep. So right, okay, here we go. We're going to build a seat. The first thing to mention about the seat is that seats are another excellent way of building up your shipbuilding skill. You can improve them, and I will get to improving, you know, because it's such a big part of the game. But for now, we're going to make a seat. So let's bring up the crafting window and the crafting recipes, and we need the saw and we need logs. Now the seat uses 20 kilograms of log, so you'll see that I've got 4 logs that are 24 kilograms. 4 kilograms of each log will turn out to be wood scraps, but that's alright because we just want the 4 seats. So let's do that. I have the materials in my pocket, so let's add to the crafting window. Okay, let's check that it is a seat and not a yoke. Yep, yokes are fantastic for fueling your ovens and your forges, by the way. Always keep your yokes. Okay, and also yokes can be used for improving. Another fantastic way to improve your skills related to it. Carpentry, I'm not sure if it's fine carpentry, but carpentry. Okay, we want 4, let's click create and get ourselves 4 seats to this epic rowboat. There's one. Let's drop that in there. Okay, I didn't drop all the logs in here, that's why it stopped. So let's continue on. Yeah, I know this rowboat seems like a big job to do, but you've got to just think of the end result. It will be so fantastic for travelling around and exploring the other islands. I know we got our carts and wagons for the land travel, but it's also lovely to have a rowboat so we can get our bow and arrows. Thank you to all of you that have been sharing your affinities. Know this, whatever affinity you have, it's there for a good reason. It's useful, so do not be dismayed if it's not one of the top affinities, because I'll tell you now, there is no such thing as a top affinity, because everyone in this game will totally enjoy a different skill. So, it's different for everyone. Right, that's our seats. We have 7 seats. I don't understand why we've got 7 seats. I was just building 4, but we have 7 seats. Okay. Oh, I know why, because I've made 3 already. I was only going to show you 1 seat. It's because I'm waffling on so much, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing half the time. But anyway, we got 7 seats, so there's for the sailboat in the future, because I can store them, I think. No, you can't store. The way to know if you can store an item in a bulk storage bin is, I believe, if you can improve them or not. If you can improve them, that means that you've got to keep them on the ground. But that's great. Let them get to 50% damage. I can then repair them, and then I can improve them and get all my skills up. It is all fantastic. Okay, next then. Now we get to the last component before we can assemble our rowboat, which of course is the stern. So, now down here, you'll see I've made the components for our stern, which are additional components to all the others. Oh yeah, I know, there's loads of stuff going on there, but all will become clear as we slowly put it all together. Okay, now to do the stern, let's see if I can bring it up in here. If I can't, it's not a problem. I'll switch to Wurm. Oh, I can, brilliant. Okay, there we go. So we need, in total, 11 planks, 20 pegs and 10 tenon. So here we go. Whole plank's very heavy, you'll remember. So what I'll do is I'll just drop 1. I'll drop all 20 pegs because they're hardly anything, and I'll drop all the tenons. Okay, so now what we'll do is we will add the stern and check that we have a stern, because we certainly don't want to waste our materials. Okay, so there we go. Let's drop a few more whole planks. Let's now put that to 1, because remember it's only going to create the unfinished stern. So we only want to do 1 unfinished stern, not many of them. So we click create. Okay, so try again. And again. Yep, we're taking damage, but very little damage. Never worry about that. If you're using an item and it takes damage in the crafting process, don't worry. It will never get to the stage of deleting the item. Not in Wurm Unlimited, because it's too quick and made a lot easier. Wurm Online is a different matter altogether. Yes, you have to be careful in that. Right, okay, we have our unfinished pinewood stern. We'll now add that to the crafting window. And it's now telling us the components we need. So what we'll do, let's drop in first of all, get the pegs out the way. I don't think, oh, they are cedarwood. No, so I'll do them last. Let's do the whole planks. Okay. I'm hoping that I'll have enough time in this episode to get the rowing boat started, so we can start assembling a few components onto it, because then that's a nice place for us to stop. And then in the next part, the final part of the rowboat episode, of course, we will finish building the rowboat, and then we will go off and say hello to Mr. Shark and find out whether we are safe in local, not deep sea waters. In the sea water, I tell you now, in a rowboat you're not safe. The shark will knock you out the rowboat and then it will eat you. Okay, and also say goodbye to your rowboat if you're out in the deep blue sea. But if you're close to the shore, where I notice there is a shark swimming around here, that's what I want to test, whether we're safe. That's our little test that we're doing, our fun little experiment at the expense of me. Okay, let's now do our tenons. As you can see, this is going to be a very heavy object, so again that's why I'm building it by the water, so not far to carry it. This makes good sense to build your rowboat or your boats near the water. With the bigger boats, okay, you can make a boat carrier for carrying your boats around. For like you can. It's so long since I've used them. I'm going to do an episode on them, don't worry. For now, I'll just say that you can move your boats around on what it's like a little cart, but specially for moving boats. So don't worry, I will get to that in a later episode, but that's a much later episode because we aren't going to get to the big boats for a long time, as you're going to see, because of sails and ropes, cordage ropes. Oh, there's some difficult stuff to make, but we'll get there. Okay, we're nearly done with the tenons, and then we can start to assemble this wonderful rowboat. Oh, that's finished, so let's throw the tenon over. Where shall I get rid of it? I've got so many items everywhere now. It's untrue. I just hope I don't get lost with trying to find some of the items in a minute. Okay, let's add our pegs. Won't take long. I know there's 20, but it won't take long. We'll get there. I'm just racing against that timer. But I am feeling lucky. I don't think I've waffled that long. Well, I never know anyway when I do waffle that long. I just do it without even thinking. But I'm hoping the timer is on our side, because I really want to just add a few components to the rowboat so you can see the start and the end. That way, because you aren't going to want to sit there with me adding 51 whole planks, seats, keels, oh goodness me, tar, you name it, it's all there. And that's nothing. This is the easiest boat. But you know what? In all the years I've played Wurm, I've only ever used a rowboat because it suits my purposes completely. I've even travelled from server to server with Rainstorm as passenger, and we travelled server to server, I believe, before the advent of... No, the very last trip we made from server to server, sharks had been added to the game, but fortunately we didn't see any. Or if we did, we kept a good distance from them. So, yeah, rowboats. But if you are planning on travelling server to server, well, yeah, don't worry, we're going to get to the bigger boats at a much later stage. How on earth I'm going to show you building them, I don't know, because it's just going to take a huge amount of time. But then at the end of the day, we do have time. I know it runs out quickly, but we do have time. I'll just break it into loads of little episodes, perhaps. We'll see. I'll meet that challenge when we get to it. Okay, we are nearly there. Oh, I know why it's so slow. It's because I've let my stamina get down. So what I'll do is I'll let my stamina get back up. In fact, I will even eat and drink. Yes, I know I'm still eating casseroles. Don't worry, it's because I haven't done the cooking episode yet. When I do the cooking episode, then we will delight in some of the tricks that I can show you for meals. Oh, and there's some good ones. Or am I just messing with you again? Are meals just a simple thing that you can make? Is there really no hidden little tricks to it? Well, we'll see when I get to that episode, because it is another episode and it is going to be a good one. I do like cooking, and also there perhaps be an episode on brewing, because there are quite a few things that you can brew, I believe. I haven't gone much into brewing in the past, so it will be interesting. I believe there's things like mead and tea, and, well, we have milk, which we're going to start using soon. But there is a special drink for stamina, which I really want to show you, because there's some really good benefits to that, but I'll get to it. I'm just waffling while these pegs are going, so ignore me. Right, okay, there we go. We now have all the components we need. There is our finished stern, and yes, it's another item that can be improved. So that's fantastic. Although what I will do now, quickly switch to the wonderful Wurmpedia and have a look to see if there is anything I can tell you. I'm going to read the notes. There's only 3 notes. I'll read them quickly to you. So, reading from Wurmpedia. 10 on quality level affects % chance of success. Failure will damage the 10 on and the whole plank. Will never fit in a small cart nor large cart. If building a boat in a cart away from water, leave off a peg until the stern is ready to be finished. An unfinished stern fits in carts. So there we are, 3 little quick bits of info from the wonderful Wurmpedia. Right, okay, let's now switch back. So now we need to start building our boat. Where do we start? What do we do? Let's show you. Let's make sense of all of these hundreds of components we're accumulating. It all starts with our 2 keels. Yes, there are 3 keels. That's why my 3rd and last component is sat proudly over there. But we're going to start with 2 keel sections. Of course, silly me won't be able to put them in my pocket until I put that down. So let's grab our keel sections. Let's activate one of the keel sections, right click on the other keel section. Now remember, you can have 1 keel section on the ground there, okay? So in fact, no, if I drop it, it's probably going to go in the pile of items. Right click on the other keel section, go over create, ships. Oh yeah, there's some beautiful ships. And yeah, there is some difficult ones, but I tell you something, I would love someday to be able to make the biggest ship. You will not believe the amount that you can carry in the huge big ships. It's fantastic. You can put, what was it, 100 crates? Ridiculous. You can go stripping islands of their resources. Anyway, I'm straying. Right, so we want, of course, the small rowing boat. There we go. Let's try and build it. There we go. Fantastic. Here is our small rowing boat. I'm not worried it's not in the water because we can drag it over there. So don't worry about that. Okay, so there's our small rowing boat. Now what we should be able to do is add it to the crafting window. And there is a complete list of all of our items. So I will be adding all of these and leaving our last keel for last. Okay, so let's get the whole planks done next. So we'll drop them in, as many in my pocket. Now, I'm not obviously going to add all of these components. What I'm going to do, until the timer goes, I'm going to keep adding different components just to show you. So let's get started. So I'll add 4 whole planks and then I'll move on. Let's see how much of this rowboat we can get built before the timer goes. Okay, that's some whole planks. Let's add some seats. Oh, might make sense if I put them in there. Yeah, I actually love building boats. On our deed, when me and Rainstorm left, gave our last break on Wurm Online, you can see on the shore there that I built a rowboat, a sailboat, and then the corbiter, and I was aiming to go all the way to the top with the boats, but well, as you do, I drifted and wandered. So though, I'll set that to rights with this series. We will try and get them all done. Okay, that's enough seats. Don't know if I still need to add more. We'll get to that. Let's add the mooring rope. We certainly don't want that rotting. Okay. Remember ropes. Whenever you make ropes, put them in your bulk storage bin. Otherwise they will rot. And you don't want a mooring rope or a cordage rope rotting, because you would have used up a lot of hemp. Oh, let's drop it in there. One thing also to mention is always make sure you add your non-wood items before the wooden items. Why? Because obviously we want to make sure this is a cedar rowing boat. And if the last item you've got to add is tar or a rope, that means you don't decide with the last item what material it is. Okay, let's do some tar next. Oh, well, this is very good. I obviously have not waffled for that long because the alarm hasn't gone yet. So we're doing good. I wonder if we'll get the rowboat finished. I doubt it very much. But let's just see. Of course, I'm failing a lot now. But I bet the skills are going up nicely. Let's have a look. Let's check out the boat building skills. Shipbuilding. Yep, there we go. Nearly on 27. Now, with boat building, something to mention to you all. If you want to know when you're ready to move on to the next boat, so the next boat for me and for us in this series is the sailboat, you will look up the parts to that boat and you will look at the different components that are necessary. Off the top of my head, the two killers are the ropes and sails. So once my skills are sufficient for them components, and also for the difficulty of the boat denoted by the skill level in that particular skill, then I know it's time to move on to that next boat. So until that time I realise I'm not ready. So let's see, let's add now the stern. There's the stern. That's a really big item. In fact, I could add that last. So let's add the oars. Okay, what next? Let's add some pegs. It's alright, I know I'm loading 70. I'm not going to sit here and let you watch me add 70. I shall just add a few of these. See, every single thing you're adding is boosting up your shipbuilding skill and your carpentry skill. It is just so fantastic because, you know, I'm probably going to be ready for the sailboat once I've trained up, once we've started doing tailoring and perhaps a bit more rope making. I'm going to be nearly ready for the sailboat. So Brainstorm will then have a sailboat and I'll use the rowing boat because I prefer the rowing boat. Rainstorm prefers the sailing boat because it is much quicker. Right, okay, I'll add these pegs and then we'll call it here because I can't keep going for the sake of it because I might not have set the I might have forgotten to set the alarm, in which case I'm probably on an hour right now, in which case you probably are going to be very cross with me. So there we go. You can see I've got a few more components to add, which I will be adding, but I will not complete the boat. I shall leave the stern and a keel section for the next part, the concluding part to making this rowboat, and then we'll take the boat out for a little ride. I'm hoping I don't lose the rowboat. If I do, I'll just have to build another one for Rainstorm. We'll see though when we get there. Wherever you are in the world, God bless every last single one of you and keep every last single one of you safe. Have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.